hair and makeup. Oh my goodness, I feel like a star. And I was sitting there and I looked up and I was like, I'm a big fan. I don't know why I said it. It was so cringe. And he just walked up like, thank you, that's really kind of you. Lazy students, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video all about being an extra on The Princess Switched Again, which is a Netflix Christmas film with Vanessa Hudgens, Sam Palladio, and it came out this week. So if you're interested in hearing about my experiences or you're interested in doing some extra work yourself, this is a video for you. I'm going to talk all about the process from the start, middle and the end, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's get into the video. So this was actually a really last minute call for me. In January, I got a call the night before. Now, I was actually staying down in Newcastle, living there with my boyfriend, and I'd almost forgotten I was still signed up for an extra agency in Scotland, where I'm from. So I was on the phone like, yeah, sure, Edinburgh sounds great. I really hope this isn't another 6 AM call time, which it usually is. Actually, it was a 12 PM midday call time because the shoot actually ended past midnight the next day, so it was absolutely fine. So I worked at a cinema at the time, so when I got the call, I thought, okay, I've got the day off tomorrow, it shouldn't be that bad. It's only a couple hours from Newcastle to Edinburgh, I can drive up. Now usually if it was so far I may not take the opportunity because the pay isn't that great, but honestly I knew the stars of this film and I thought, what if I got to meet them? That'd be really cool. We were filming at the tram station, so we met at the airport. So I drove to the airport, got my makeup ready, even though they redid my makeup. Sometimes they do, a lot of the times they don't. So if you're going to set, I can make a whole video actually. I'll leave the tips out of this, but if you're interested in extra work and tips on what to pack, what to bring, what to wear, how to show up, etc., I can do a whole video on that, so let me know. Anyway, so I get to Edinburgh airport in my car and then I get my little suitcase. I always bring my little suitcase because you need a couple changes of clothes, etc. They tell you what to bring. So I got my suitcase and hopped on the coach. Now this was just a few minute coach ride. We went to, I can't remember the name, I think it was the Hilton, or it was a hotel really near Edinburgh airport. It was lovely. So we all got put in a conference room. Now, here was the exciting part. Generally, if you are a featured extra, that means that you are going to be featured in some way. For instance, they make you put on a costume that isn't your own clothes that you've brought, or you get a line. Now, they were going around this conference room looking for featured extras, so they did things like pilot. They needed a pilot and they needed the crew, and obviously I just wasn't suitable for that for them, and I was like really bummed. I was sitting there thinking, I want to meet the cast, like I want to be a featured extra, and it just was not happening for me. And then we had breakfast, so they feed you really well. It's called Craft. I was sitting there eating my food like, yeah, I wish I was a featured extra because I haven't been one yet. And you get a little bit of more pay, but that's totally not why I wanted to do it. It was because I was super excited about the production. So I was sitting there eating with my friends. You meet a lot of new people, which is great when you do extra work. And the cast, well, the crew, sorry, was running around sort of finding people, and they said, has anyone ever been a barista? Hands up. And I was like, I've been a barista, along with many other people. So they walked around and sort of questioned a couple people, and they hadn't found anyone yet, and I was sitting there like, please, I've been a barista, please pick me, oh my goodness. So the casting director came over, she's like, okay, stand up, turn around, let me see you. So I was like, yes, pick me, please, yes. And she was like, okay, yeah, you'll do. Would you please grab your suitcase and the rest of your food, your lunch, and come through to the private room? I was like, yes, okay. And I said goodbye to everyone because it was kind of sad because I'd made like friends in the hour or two that we were waiting. But I got my suitcase and bundled up all my clothes because I always bring far too much. And I got ushered into this private room, which was kind of cool. It was a costume room, and they were like, yeah, so you can get changed in here. We're going to give you this apron. It was this green like barista apron. And they were like, you can finish your lunch in here and then we'll get you over to hair and makeup. I was like, hair and makeup, oh my goodness, I feel like a star. So once I'd been fitted in costume, which was literally them giving me an apron, it turned out that it was a white apron at first, then it changed to a green one down the road when we were filming. And I sat down at hair and makeup in the queue and I was waiting, and then someone with like an earpiece and a microphone and a radio came through. They were like, could we get this girl in hair and makeup stat please? And I felt so bad. They're like, skip the queue, we need this girl in hair and makeup. I felt really important. I wasn't, but I felt really important. So they put me in hair and makeup. The guy was really nice who was doing it. He slicked my hair back. I felt so ugly. He did my makeup and it was really cool. He put like this dark lip on, like it was really nice. Lots of blush. I felt pretty cool. And we said keep my jumper on and keep my hat on, which eventually that all changed. But anyways, that is what happened. We then went on a coach to set. We were filming at an Edinburgh tram station. Wish I knew the one. It's the one nearest the airport, I guess. So we were filming there and they had changed it. If you see the film, that is where they're pretending it is an airport. So as we were on the coach, I asked the second AD, which is the second assistant director, and I said, are any of the main cast going to be there? It's really exciting. And he was like, no, I'm afraid none of the cast are going to be there. We're just filming a bit of background. I was really disappointed because I was such a fan of Vanessa Hudgens in High School Musical. I was such a fan of Sam Palladio, who did loads of seasons of Nashville, the TV series, which I absolutely loved. So I was really a bit disappointed because I was a fan of a lot of the actors. But I was like, do you know, that's okay. You might see me in the background somewhere. And I don't know, they might see me. It's fine. So we were the first coach. We got in and we only sat in the bus for 5 minutes, got into the tram station, got on set, which was so cool because it was really Christmassy. It was January, we'd passed Christmas, but obviously film magic. It was really Christmassy and beautifully decorated with beautiful baubles and trees and everything. It was lovely. So we got ushered into this part of the tram station with this big heater on the wall. It was like operated by a button and we had to press it every 5 minutes, and it was literally January in Edinburgh -4 or something. It was freezing. I was wearing, what was I wearing? I was wearing like jeans, like tight, not very warm jeans, a really light blouse, and then my jumper. So I went there and they were like, no, you guys can't stand there, we're doing sound tests, it's too loud. And we were like, okay. So we had to go outside and it was absolutely freezing. And then Vanessa Hudgens walks through the tram station and I was like, what? Vanessa Hudgens! Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. I thought they weren't going to be there. And I guess the 2AD didn't want to like spill the beans that the actors are going to be there. And then I saw her body double, or her stand-in, sorry, there wasn't any stunts in this film, but her stand-in, who is the person that stands there sort of wearing a wig, wearing what she wears, and stands there for her shots that she's not in, because obviously Vanessa plays, I won't spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but she plays at least 2 people in this one as well. And then Sam Palladio walks into the tram station and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm such a big fan, this is crazy. Again, loads of glass between us, I can see him from like 15 feet away, and I thought, this is how close I'm gonna get, that's amazing, I can see them from far away. So the next thing I know, they're like, okay, where's the barista? And I'm like, I'm here, I'm playing the barista, I guess. And I thought I'd be really far away from the actors and all the things going on, and they lead me in these doors, these opening kind of closing doors that were basically open, again, -4. Really cold, and they lead me right in front of that to where there's this trolley, like a food truck, like a Christmassy cafe, and they were like, okay, this is where you'll be. And I was like, okay, very cool, right in front of the action. You can kind of tell from the way it's shot, I mean, you can kind of see, if you watch at 1:22 in the Princess Switched Again, you'll see me a few times pop up kind of before and after during that scene. So I was standing there at this stall and they were like, okay, wear this, which was a little Belgravia, Works in Belgravia badge, which is like the fake town they made up for the film. And they said, okay, so you're handing, the producer came over, really big deal being able to speak to the producer, he was so cool. And at this point I was still wearing my jumper. He was like, I like your jumper. I was like, thanks so much. And he's like, okay, so you're going to be taking these cups, pretending to make coffee in this machine, and you're going to be serving this gentleman, the priest, a coffee. Not a real one, obviously, the cup was empty. And I thought, maybe you'll see me in the back of this seems slightly important. And there was cameras facing me. Unfortunately, they didn't use any face-on shots in the end, but it was still amazing to see what was going on behind the scenes. So then Nick Sagar walks in, who plays Kevin, with the little girl, I can't remember her name, but they walk in and they are standing right in front of me to the side. And then you've got this priest, person playing the priest standing in front of me. And then you have, down the corner, you have Vanessa Hudgens and Sam Palladio, which is so cool. If you watch the scene, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They took loads and loads of shots. So we were filming from probably about 5 p.m. and we were meant to wrap at 12, but you get paid if you wrapped after 12, and we wrapped around 4:30 a.m. So there's a lot that happened in between that, but we were filming basically the same scene from multiple different camera angles for a very long time. Bless, it was so cold. They did 2 takes and then the director came over to me, which never happened, and he was so mad about my jumper. He was like, yeah, your jumper? It's really bright, because it was like this yellow stripe, and then my boyfriend got me this lovely jumper. It had a yellow stripe and a cream stripe and a brown stripe. He was like, it's coming out really bright on my camera. lose it. It's like, okay, lose the hat as well. So I said, okay, that was fun. So I lost the jumper and the hat, but I was wearing this really thin, like see-through blouse. Don't worry, I was all covered up with my apron, but it was freezing, absolutely freezing. And I was in front of these doors that were opening and closing, mainly open because that's where the director was, with all his cameras and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm cold. Bless the hair and makeup team, they were always coming and touching me up, which was so exciting because I felt like a proper movie star, even though I was an extra. It was amazing. And then they brought the blanket over and I was just standing there like between takes. I had this blanket on me. It was just so exciting seeing the actors in action, seeing that happen. They were like, oh, just be a barista, you know, start flicking around the cloth and like pretending to brush things away and clean the stall and serve food and stuff, which was really exciting. So I was doing that basically every take while like looking in awe of Vanessa Hudgens right next to me. Every single time the director yelled cut, Vanessa Hudgens would like walk beside me. I did not speak directly to her, but she smiled at me and she was practicing lines right next to me, like this close. And I was like, oh my goodness, you're Vanessa Hudgens, that's crazy, in my head. And I was nervous because, here's the thing, if you've never been an extra on a TV or film set, you are not allowed to speak to the actors. That is literally part of your contract. So if you're going there to speak to celebrities, it's a no-go. You will literally be thrown off of set. However, I was passing the archway that you'll see again around 122. They're standing under an archway. I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but they are standing under an archway, Vanessa Hudgens and Nick Sagar, and I was standing there holding my jacket because they said, we don't need you for this bit. In fact, they did. So I ran back and I accidentally tripped and Nick Sagar basically caught me and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yes, very starstruck. And I said, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for speaking to you. We are not allowed to speak to actors. And he was like, who told you that? And I said, literally my extra agency, everyone, like, we know we're not allowed to talk to you. He gave me a hug in front of everyone, like a long hug, and he was like, it's okay. He was a nice guy. He's like, it's okay, honestly. You can talk to me, I'm talking to you, just tell the director, who was furious, like standing behind him like, looking at him for talking to me. He's like, I don't care if we hold up the set. Nick Sagar was the nicest guy. So he gave me a hug and I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. Because he's so handsome, he's such a nice guy. So then I kind of toddled back to set where the stall was and I was just standing there like, ah. And every single time I was handing the priest the cup, the continuity lady was like, you have to hand it this way. I mean, in the end, in the cut, you didn't even get to see it, so it wouldn't have mattered. But she's like, make sure your badge is like flipped the right way. Make sure you're handing the cup this way. They were handing me fake Belgravia currency. So the priest was like, so I actually served a few people then the priest, because in case they needed the footage, which they didn't in the end, which is fine. But they were like, take the money a certain way, give him change a certain way. So after a few takes, they basically left it up to me, which was crazy. So I would take this fake money and keep it in piles behind like the set bit of who was giving me what for continuity. And then every time the director yelled cut, it was literally up to me to run with all these piles of fake money and give every single actor like the right amount of money, which is kind of crazy. And he did all that, and then it was a scene with Vanessa and Kevin. You can't really tell with the camera angle, but they were pretty much in front of me. You can't see me, but I swear you can sort of see in the scene. And they speak to the priest. I won't ruin it, but it's a big moment. We filmed that for like 5 hours as well because they needed so many different takes, I guess. But it was so exciting to see Vanessa Hudgens acting right in front of me. So I'm really sorry if my camera has just switched angles. It actually ran out of memory because I was talking for so long, so I've had to wipe the memory and start again, but that's absolutely okay. Yeah, they filmed for hours and hours and hours, and I was on set basically that entire time. I think I stood away once, and then they went to film a scene outside, which weirdly enough plays before, but obviously they don't film things in sequence on a film set. So they all went outside and they were like, you can't be an extra in this, because if you're seen, people will wonder why you're there, and then suddenly a barista, so that would be a bit weird. So I was the only extra that got to sit out, which was a bit weird. I was sitting there, and Mark Fleischman, who plays the kind of angry butler character, he is such a gem. He walked up to me and it was so fun because we got to sit and have a conversation. He didn't like walk up to me to speak to me, but he walked past me and I was sitting there and I looked up and I was like, hi, I'm a big fan. I don't know why I said it. It was so cringe. And he just walked up like, thank you, that's really kind of you. And then we started a conversation that honestly lasted half an hour. It was so nice. He is such a nice gentleman. We had a conversation. I said, I really want to be in the film. filming through and everything, and he was giving me loads of advice, and he was so kind. And then he went for his scene, which was incredible, and I said to him, it was so funny, I said, I really want to meet Sam Palladio. I'm such a big fan of his. Like, I was wearing my Opry bracelet, which I wear like every day, and he was like, you should just say hi to me, he's such a sweetheart. And I was like, no, absolutely not. Not that Sam didn't look happy or anything, it's just he was definitely like mind on set, mind on his lines, standing there. We'd locked eyes a couple times, but like we hadn't said anything to each other, and obviously me being an extra, not allowed to speak to the actors, I thought, don't push your luck, you have had a hug from an actor today, spoken to another one, honestly don't push your luck. But as it so happens, when we wrapped filming, I was walking out and Sam Palladio was just in front of me, and I was speaking to the hair and makeup artist, like, she was like, now's your chance, go say hi. And I was like, oh, I might, I don't know. So I walked over to him and he was chatting, and then he stopped chatting to someone and kind of was about to look at his phone, and I just went up to him like some weird crazy fan, and I was like, I'm such a big fan. And he was like, hello. He's like, thank you so much. And he's got an English accent, which is bizarre because in the TV Nashville, obviously the TV series Nashville, he has an American accent. I knew he was British though, and he was lovely. He literally took my hand, like he shook my hand then took my hand. He was like, thank you so much for taking the time to come up to me and tell me that you're a fan of my work. Like, that's so nice of you, and I hope you have such a good day and such a good week and everything. And then I was like, okay, bye, like, well done filming, it was incredible and amazing seeing your work, and thank you so much. He was like, oh no, of course. He was so nice. So then I left and got back on the coach, and it was maybe 4:45 in the morning. I was shattered. I'd woken up at about 8 to get ready and then drive from Newcastle to Edinburgh, and it was now 5:30 AM the next day and I hadn't slept yet. So I got my car. I actually gave one of the other extras a lift. Like I said, you make friends, and he didn't have a bus at that time, and so I gave one of the extras a lift, and then I got home myself to my mum's house because she lives in Edinburgh. Like I said, that's where I'm from, and that was the day. I had such an amazing time meeting the actors, such an amazing time being on set. And if you watch the Princess Switched again, Princess Switch #2, you will see just little parts of me, and like I said, they dubbed me over. They dubbed me over in multiple languages. It's not my voice, I didn't have a line, although I would love to take credit. I would absolutely love to take credit for that. It wasn't me. So that was honestly one of the best nights of my life, and I highly recommend extra work. Not every single experience I've had has been like that. Like I said, I can make a video of experiences that haven't quite been as exciting or as friendly and as nice. I've been on lots of different sets, but honestly this was just incredible. It's going to be so hard to follow when all this extra work goes back to proper normal and normality. It would be so hard to follow. So I just wanted to share my story as to what it was like being on the Princess Switch. I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. Towards the literal last 5 minutes of the film, around the 21-minute mark, start watching then. As soon as they're at the airport, I won't spoil it, but start watching then, and tell me in the comments if you watch and you can see me. I've already posted on Twitter and Instagram a tiny screenshot. I would show it in this video, but I do not want to get copyright struck. That is not my jam. So I was like, don't show it. Not early on in the channel getting copyright striked. I was really worried. So I didn't want to show it. But anyways, go and watch that film. It's such a good film anyway. Watch it anyway. Don't watch it just to see me like in the background. Watch it anyway. Such an amazing film. I definitely recommend you watch it. I really hope that you got something out of this video. If you want to do extra work, I can definitely tell you more about it, make some more videos. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I could do like what to pack in your extra bag, how to get extra work, how to fill out your profile, what to do on set, all of these different things if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed and part of the Lazy Student family. That would mean the world to me. Introduce yourself in the comments. Let's be friends. That would be incredible. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you got this far. Oh my goodness, crazy. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. I post every single week, usually on a Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye!